A North Korean propaganda postcard from 1988. The postcard depicts a South Korean defected soldier, his new wife whom he met in the north, and a Volvo car available to any decent North Korean. The Japanese listened to the Emperor's message about surrender. Japan, 1945. King Constantine II of Greece, right, and Prince Juan Carlos I of Spain, left, sparring in karate. Corfu, Greece, 1966. These kinds of doors helped alcoholics of the past find the keyhole after their alcoholic procedures. Hitler's nephew who fought for the USA during World War II. A bicycle corps of the Netherlands Army on the eve of the German invasion in 1940. Smiling gangster Charlie Berger before execution, Benton, 1928. British and German soldiers during the Christmas truce, WWI, 1914. Turtle racing in the U.S., 1920s. A turtle's body isn't built for this kind of weight, posing a risk of injury, but in America there was always a desire to make a show out of absolutely anything. One of the wealthiest people in the world, Jeff Bezos, at the beginning of his career, 1999. Monks from Asakusa Temple prepare for the Sino-Japanese War, Japan, 1936. Girls painting clock dials with radioactive paint, most of them would later die from radiation sickness, 1922. Refusal of service for Soviet-made Lada cars until the USSR leaves Afghanistan, Canada, 1984. One of the warehouses filled to the ceiling with victims' shoes, Auschwitz, Poland, 1944. A crowd of white civilized Americans mocking two participants in the Black Civil Rights Movement, 1965. A selfie with Adolf Hitler, Germany, 1930s. The famous photograph, "Thank you, Comrade Stalin, for our happy childhood." In reality, the regime executed her father and her mother died in prison. First day of black student Dorothy Counts at Harry Harding High School, USA, 1957. She was one of the first black students admitted, but withdrew after only 4 days due to harassment. How teeth were treated several centuries ago. Survivors: A7762, A7761, A7762. This is how the Nazis designated 3 sisters when they brought them to Auschwitz in 1944. A rare photo of North Korean leader Kim Il-sung showing a tumor on his neck. Photographers were prohibited from photographing the right side of his face, late 1980s. A dark chapter in Louisiana history. Under an 1848 law, children born to incarcerated black women became property of the state. Mothers raised them in prison until age 10, after which the state sold the children through newspaper ads. The Witch's Throne, a torture device for women accused of witchcraft. It is a chair with spikes and a heated seat. In 1693, Marina Vukanek spent 11 days on it. She went mad and died without confessing guilt. Stepping into a new era, the first black student at a white school, 1954. A photo of 2 NASA engineers inside a hangar the size of a 10-story building, where blocks with flaps guide the air around the aerodynamic tube at the Ames Research Center, 1960. Army priest in a camouflage cassock, Vietnam, 1968. A woman uses a special bandage to fight depression, Budapest, 1937. As long as we have beer and tobacco, we are not afraid of the enemy's scum. We will endure. German postcard from World War I, 1916. The arrest of Rosa Parks for refusing to move to the whites-only section of the bus, USA, 1956. The Soviet version of the famous Beatles photo. USA, Alabama, mass protests of the black population against white terror in September 1963. U.S. Vice President Nelson Aldrich Rockefeller gives the finger to a crowd of hippies during a public speech, New York, USA, 1976. Strike of Working Children, USA, 1902. At the start of the Russo-Japanese War, caricatures of a crying Japanese man being whipped by a Cossack were popular in Russia, Russian Empire, 1904. Eventually, Russia lost the war, suffering massive losses. Just freed prisoners from a Nazi camp queuing for food. William Harley and Arthur Davidson, 1914. How women's swimsuits have changed. A demonstration of pornographic pictures. Beijing, 1874. This haunted every German. In this photo, a demonstrator tears down the Berlin Wall, dividing the city into two countries. Germany, 1989. Prisoners of the Flossenburg death camp after liberation by the 97th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army, May 1945. The rotor carousel reached 33 revolutions per minute, creating a centrifugal force of almost 3G. When people stuck to the wall of the drum due to the force, the floor was automatically removed for greater effect. USA, 1950s. The Spanish flu killed more people than World War I. Naturalist Carl Akeley poses with a leopard that attacked him, which he killed with his bare hands, 1896. This amazing photo shows an electric taxi car driving through the streets of New York in 1898, 110 years before Elon Musk's Tesla. In 1950, the Ortho Company noticed a drop in demand for ammonium sulfate and decided it was time for a bold change in advertising strategy. American soldiers are shown one of the methods of execution in the German concentration camp Buchenwald, 1945. Night fishing in Hawaii, where bright lights attract fish to the shallows, 1968. Japanese soldiers abused Chinese prisoners during the Nanjing Massacre, 1938. Patent sketch of toilet paper, created by inventor Seth Wheeler, 1891. The most obscene swimsuits of the 19th century. In the Middle Ages, women used lead-based whiteners for a porcelain skin tone. This cosmetic, popular until the 19th century, caused poisoning, emaciation, disorientation, lack of appetite, and took the lives of many. Public toilet in Paris, France, 1875. German POWs watching a Holocaust film, 1945. During hyperinflation in Germany, workers were paid twice a day, morning and evening, and during lunch they were released from work to buy something with their rapidly depreciating money. The bathtub of Russian Emperor Alexander I. In London in 1911, the first escalator was installed in the subway, but many passengers were afraid to use it. To dispel their fears, one of the subway workers, William Harris, regularly rode the escalator up and down, demonstrating its safety and harmlessness. A former German soldier, returned from captivity, reads notices on a tree about the search for relatives. Dresden, 1946. Playing tennis on the wing of a flying airplane, USA, 1925. My mental pain is unbearable. The same unresolved question. If my gun took people's lives, then I am guilty of their deaths." This was written in his last letter before his death by Mikhail Kalashnikov, the creator of the legendary AK-47. Mixed family smile for a self-shot. Looks like one of the two is holding the camera, with their little baby, England, 1940s. Relatives wish each other Merry Christmas through the Berlin Wall in 1961. A local entrepreneur who carried chairs on his back and rented them out for 10 cents to tired tourists, Turkey, 1920. Crowd fights over toilet paper in a Tokyo supermarket, Japan, 1973. Beauty pageant winners, Washington, 1922. Charging an electric car in 1911. Lunch break during the filming of Star Wars. Soviet Air Force bombing of Helsinki, Finland, 1939, Winter War. One of the most famous photos of World War II, a crying 15-year-old German anti-aircraft gunner, Hans-Georg Henke, captured by the U.S. Army in Rechtenbach, Germany. 18th century spike chair for executing witches, death by blood loss. Sale of dinosaur footprints extracted from limestone in the Paluxy Riverbed, Texas, 1954. The photo shows the astronauts of the Challenger shuttle, NASA, January 28, 1986. The spacecraft exploded 73 seconds after launch. All 7 crew members died. The car in which Princess Diana and Dodi Al-Fayed were traveling after the car accident on August 31, 1997. Memorial cross for the last witch burned in 1657 Scotland. Hitler Rally, 1937. No gathering in human history had assembled as many people. Millions of bison skulls, nearly extinct due to uncontrolled hunting, 1870s. In 1952, Einstein was offered the post of President of Israel, but he refused, citing a lack of necessary experience. Auschwitz, 1944. German officers and guards have fun while countless victims are killed and cremated daily in the nearby death camp. Cyclist on a self-made wooden bicycle, Estonia, 1912. James Naismith, Canadian-American inventor of basketball, with his wife, 1928. An American certificate for aiding starving children in the Soviet Union. The owner of this certificate has fed one hungry orphan, USA, 1923. Police fight against demonstrators protesting against the Vietnam War, USA, 1968. Passengers of the New York subway sitting without newspapers during the citywide newspaper strike, 1953. The greatest jazzman in history, Louis Armstrong, leaves an autograph in the form of a drawn trumpet on a fan's head, France, 1961. A Filipino survivor of the Manila Massacre shows the attempt of a Japanese officer to behead him. The Manila Massacre, which took place between February and March of 1945 during the Philippine Campaign, took the lives of between 100,000 and 240,000 civilians, according to U.S. estimates. The only Japanese survivor of the Titanic lost his job in his homeland and was nicknamed a coward because he did not show bravery and did not perish with the other passengers, as befitting a descendant of a samurai. Horse-drawn combine harvester. German soldiers lead Polish girls to execution, 1941. Anti-apartheid protesters in Cape Town, 1989. Police spray the protesters with colored water from a water cannon so they can be easily identified and arrested. Cedar Log Lumberyard in Seattle, 1939. A Turkish official taunts starving Armenian children with bread during the Armenian Genocide, 1915. An ordinary American bar from 1941 with a sign that says they don't serve beer to Indians. A woman carries a sewing machine on her head using the local method of carrying. Women from these regions usually carry water jugs on their heads. Kuwait, 1955. The librarian of the National Library of Calcutta divides books between India and Pakistan after the partition in 1947. American women donate nylon stockings to the Army. Light, durable, and thick, they were ideal for use as powder bags for artillery, USA, 1944. The mummies of Guanajuato are considered the creepiest. Their distorted faces suggest people were buried alive. In the 19th century, due to unpaid grave taxes, bodies were exhumed and stored in basements, and later a museum was created from the most frightening ones. Pearl Harbor, 1941. Several members of the Ku Klux Klan prepare to greet the Gay Pride Parade in Chicago, 1986. A Real Woman Will Always Cover You, Italy, 1960. Two childhood friends meet on opposite sides of the barricades, Saint-Brieuc, France, 1972. A few slogans from Richard Nixon's presidential campaign sparked a reaction. Whether good or bad, I'd love to read your comments below. Get ready for the next installment very soon. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss out. Catch you later.